Taking a look more specifically at movement we're seeing on the currency front, we had the Naira weaken sharply against the US dollar on the interbank market yesterday. What's your view on the kind of activity we're seeing on the currency side?
We'd have to take a look at what had happened maybe from the beginning of the year up to like May. We had a situation where we saw the exchange rates steadily going up, closing above 157 levels, but immediately after the swearing in and coming into this month, in the past few weeks, we have seen a gradual appreciation, a trend of appreciation in the exchange rate. Yesterday's incident was probably more a question of the fact that the supply in the market was not enough to meet demand, and so we saw a spike in the rates. But generally, we believe that the rates would gradually trend downwards.
What's driving demand at this stage, Yomi?
Demand is driven mainly by the requirements of the customers. Now, trade transactions, and then we are in a period where we see a lot of dividend outflows going because the companies have declared their profits and they've had their AGMs, and we see a repatriation of profits and dividends also driving demand.
What's your outlook then for the local unit? What trading range have you pegged out? Because a lot of it would depend on the ability of the central bank to increase then dollar supply to this demand.
Yes, you are quite correct about that. And the CBN central bank has actually committed to maintaining a band of 3% plus minus around the 150 levels. And with our reserves up, we're around 32 billion right now. They do have the muscle to do this. And it's just a question of timing. The problem we have is actually a cash flow thing. When the demand comes in and the supply is not sufficient, you see a spike in the rates. Now, the CBN has to come in at such times and temper whatever hikes we see in the rates, and they do have the capability to do that.
Let's take this discussion a little bit more into the broader economic realm here, taking a look at that picture. What's your outlook for interest rates in the current economic environment?
Well, we've seen gradually over the last few periods, we've seen yields rising, interest rates rising, primarily driven by the fact that the central bank has increased its monetary policy rate about 3 times over the last 3 meetings, a total of 200 basis points increase. That is essentially driving interest rates upward. But we also see that a lot of liquidity is coming into the market. We have the AMCOM bonds that can be repoed at the CBN window, and this would create liquidity. We also see the prospect of offshore investors who would bring in dollars, change it to Naira, and that would create more liquidity in the market. On a longer term view, we do see a likelihood of a dip in interest rates, but right now it looks like they would continue to go up.